A migrant worker based in Taiwan can't help but feel discriminated against after a blood relative is denied travel by Bureau of Immigration officials on the day of departure for not measuring up to what was otherwise a pressurized interrogation sprinkled with gotcha questions. And this was not lost on netizens who assailed the shoddy treatment on Filipinos and beat the BI for being so hospitable and accommodating to foreigners, especially to Chinese visitors from the mainland sleeping cash in their pockets. Our current Villanda tells us the full story.
The viral video of the offloaded passenger on June 30 was not asked for 10 birth certificates. The Bureau of Immigration insisted that it was just only part of the discussion between the passenger and the immigration officer, but this is not actually the requirement.
Perhaps po it's part of the discussion because like I mentioned po earlier, under the Department of Justice guidelines, isa po sa pwedeng mag-sponsor ay relative within the 4th civil degree. So perhaps po during the interview ng passenger, the immigration officer might have been trying to determine if this sponsor is really within the 4th civil degree as initially stated po ng passenger. But through the interview po, nakita rin po ng ating mga immigration officer na marami pong inconsistencies doon po sa statement ng passenger, even the most minor details about the identity of that sponsor was not kumbaga matching doon po sa sinabi ng passenger.
The BI stood by its decision not to let the passenger push through with her travel due to the multiple red flags, especially after she mentioned in the immigration interview that she intended to work in Taiwan. The passenger's cousin Ami denied the BI's claim. She attested that her cousin was being honest about carrying 2,000 pesos in her pocket, but did not mean she would be looking for an income in Taiwan. She challenged the BI to produce evidence that her cousin mentioned this. Amy is the sponsor of the passenger who was supposed to go to Taiwan on vacation. She is now a resident in the said country and owns a restaurant.
Una, nandun po yung disappointment niya, no? Discouragement niya na bakit ganun ang tawag nito, ang naging conclusion ng BI na pagpunta niya kahit wala naman siyang sinabi, wala naman siyang inadmit, wala naman, kumbaga siya pang lumabas ng nagsisinungaling. Which is, that's why I asked the hindi ko alam kung kanino ako makipag sa tawag nito, sa immigration na they have to show the evidence na yun talagang sinabi ng pinsan ko, na i-prove nila na talaga yun po talaga ang purpose ng pinsan ko pagpunta dito sa Taiwan is yung magtrabaho.
The BI countered that their assessment has basis.
Sa atin naman po, yung mga immigration officers natin are trained po to detect po kung meron po mga nakikitang discrepancy and to be able to interview properly po yung mga departing passengers. It's recorded po sa atin. We have a document po na sinusulatan at pinifill outan ng ating passengers as well as the immigration officers kung saan po nilalagay yung assessment for the passenger. And doon po natin nakita that there was an assessment by our immigration officer that there is evidence na nagsasabi po na this person is bound for Taiwan for employment.
The agency is set to conduct further investigation regarding this. The BI explained they only restrict passengers leaving the country with red flags in order to end human trafficking. But first-time travelers should have no cause for worry. In order to avoid immigration issues, there are plans to put green lanes in place in airports for OFWs and frequent travelers.
Kasi we know po that that's one of the requests then of the traveling public to expedite the procedure, the processes for those who have been traveling already for so many times, as well as yung mga OFWs po natin, lalong-lalo na yon, mga priority po natin yung mga OFWs natin. That's why we want to, kumbaga, give them a better experience pagdating po sa immigration area.
The BI intends to implement this before the end of the year, but the agency's long-term plan is to be manless. There would be no longer immigration officers at the immigration counter, but only a digital system that will filter passengers. Karen Villanda for The Nation.